Welcome to the Pioneer Institute website. I'm Jim Sturgis, Executive Director of Pioneer. We thank you for your interest in public policy and in your community. We face a lot of challenges and we need you to get involved. So what I'd like to do is basically give you an overview of this website and how you might use it to your benefit. First, let me do a couple things. Let me talk to you a little bit about Pioneer Institute and what its work entails. We're a 501c3. Our mission is to explore new ways to approach public policy challenges. We generally take the approach of exploring market approaches, and it's simply because of the fact that markets have had a tremendous impact, a beneficial impact on the well-being of people across the world for the last couple of centuries. It's a very powerful tool to leverage. We're not ideological about that. We recognize and in fact work to promote transparent and predictable regulations. In fact, just one example is many people know our work on charter schools and developing charter schools. We also worked very hard in the 1990s to make sure that we could regulate them well, and that was to make sure there was a good business planning process as well as a strong vetting process, because we understood that these were public dollars going to public schools for public school students. And I think the outcome of that is some of the strongest charter schools in the country. The marketplace of folks who do research on public policy is increasingly large. We differentiate ourselves in the following ways. The first is that we outsource the majority of the work that we do. There are lots of really smart people around here, and we want to make sure we have highly credible research from the very best folks in the field, so we engage with them. The second thing that we do to differentiate ourselves is we are incredibly practical. We don't like to just produce a piece of research and have it sit on the shelf. So what we do is, working with some really high-flying academics and practitioners, we'll make sure they sit down with local officials, state officials, scientists, sit down with business interests that are impacted by that public policy issue or recommendation, as well as folks who are just plain old interested, to make sure that whatever we come out with is highly practical. Another way that we differentiate ourselves is that we think that our job is to market ideas. We're not the smartest people in the room, but we know how to bring them together. And what we do after that research is produced and the recommendations are there is we make every effort to engage with the media, to engage with the public through writing op-eds, through TV appearances, through radio appearances, as well as through new electronic media. That's probably about 70% of the work that we do. Finally, we're different from many other places that do research in the sense that they are attached to universities, or they may take government funds, they may take quasi-governmental funds. We do not. We are strictly funded through individuals, through foundations, and some corporate money. 65% of our funding comes from individuals, like you. About 25 or 30% comes from foundations, and somewhere around 5 to 10% comes from corporations. And we are very careful not to do spec work on demand for corporate interests. We generally take those corporate dollars for a very good event called the Better Government Competition. Come visit us every couple of days. You'll see fresh content on our homepage, new research, a new video, a new blog, a new press release. In addition, you'll find there are lots of tools on our website. We have something called the Mass Open Books Transparency website, which is basically going to give you access to all state employee salaries, their pensions, as well as all of the payments made by the state government to vendors. You can search through that, you can search it by category, you can break it down. There are a lot of analytic tools there for you. In addition, you're a parent, you have a child, and you're thinking about where to send that child to school. We have created a searchable database where you can compare your school to another school in your district, your school to a school in a different district. You can compare districts. You can compare district schools to charter schools. It's a really rich tool that empowers you to do your job of thinking about where you want to send your kid to school. Finally, for those folks who are in the development world, we have a database called the Mass Housing Regulation Database, where you can check out just about every local regulation in almost 200 communities on housing development. That's a really powerful tool for developers and for environmentalists to think about how to push forward in attaining the goals that we all want. Come and friend us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. And you can click on the right-hand side of any page on our website and support the essential work that Pioneer Institute does to promote better schools, better government, and a better business climate. Thank you for visiting our site, and come often.